Hello everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet this scrap basket. This is a fairly easy crochet basket to work. It features some texture around here and I call it the scrap basket because this is a great project to make, especially if you're looking to use up some yarn scraps. I'm working my baskets in a 100% cotton yarn. Today I'll be using some scraps of leftover balls of the 24/7 cotton by Lion brand. You're going to need about 200 yards per basket. Now you're going to be holding 3 strands of yarn together. When I'm doing this, I do prefer to have 3 smaller balls of yarn that I'm pulling through all at the same time. It's up to you. You can mix and match the colors to give it a different look. It's a really versatile project. For the project, you're going to need your cotton yarn. You're also going to need a basket bottom. These bottoms are about 6 inches across and they're pre-punched. You can use any medium if you have some leather ones or another material. Today I'm working with the wood and I'm going to show you how to begin working around your wood base as well as making any adjustments. These patterns are quite easy to adjust as long as you have an even number of holes and stitches and yeah, it's just an easy project. So they're about 6 inches across and 2.5 inches tall, and you can adjust that height. You're also going to want a 5mm crochet hook and then of course your yarn. You may wish to follow along with the written instructions, and those can be found on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. They are free to follow there on my website, and I've linked that post down in the description of this video. Also down in the description you'll find direct links to my 2 crochet books that are available on Amazon, Intermediate Crochet Stitches as well as Barn Quilt Blankets, and those are also linked down below. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to take a look around. Don't forget to subscribe, and if it's not up already, there will be one other basket pattern at least coming at you very shortly. Let's grab our hooks and yarn and get started. So for our pattern today, we're going to work from the base up to the top of our basket. And as I mentioned, we're going to be working holding 3 strands of worsted weight cotton or acrylic, really whatever you have on hand. You're going to hold 3 strands of a worsted weight together. If you wish, you could substitute this for a bulky or super bulky weight yarn, and then you wouldn't need to hold the 3 strands together. Today I'll be working it this way. So step 1, you're going to take your basket bottom and you're going to insert your hook through the top and then yarn over and draw up a loop through any hole. You're going to leave a little bit of a tail, and I like to pull it a little bit longer, and we're going to weave that in a little later on. You're then going to hold back the long tail on the underside of your basket so that it doesn't pull through. You're going to insert your hook from the top through to the bottom, and the next hole, grab a hold of the yarn and pull through. You're then going to finish off by finishing a single crochet stitch. So once again, holding back that tail so it doesn't pull through, insert your hook into the next, yarn over, draw up a loop through that next hole, and yarn over and pull through your 2 loops to work a little bit of a single crochet. We're going to repeat this step all the way around our basket base. Insert our hook into the next hole, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, and finish a single crochet stitch. After you've worked a few of these stitches, you no longer need to hold on to that tail that was on the underside of your basket. You can just let it go and then continue working single crochet stitches in each space all the way around your basket. It is a little bit tricky at first to get used to holding it, especially if you're using this wood, because the wood is so stiff. And unlike working around leather or another material, it doesn't bend. So you do have to kind of twist your hook a little bit to make sure that you're working into the holes and working the stitches properly all the way around. I've now come almost all the way around. I'm going to work, because my first single crochet was in that hole, I'm going to work one more single crochet into that same hole as where I drew up my first loop. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch just into the top of that first stitch. You're going to want to make sure you're working under all of the strands and just join with the slip stitch. You're then ready to begin round 2. You'll have worked single crochet stitches all the way around. Now for my basket, the side that's facing down now with my tail is going to be the inside of my basket. And these stitches are going to be worked on the outside, and you'll see why when we come to that textured portion. You're going to chain 1, and for round 2, and round 1, I should say, of our basket bottom. So we did the foundation round. So this is the first round of our actual basket. We have these stitches to work into. So for this first round, we're going to single crochet into each of the first 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2. You're then going to work 2 single crochet stitches, both of them into the next stitch. So into our next stitch, work 2 single crochet stitches. Now we have to work a little bit of an increase here in this first round, simply because otherwise our basket edges would kind of pull in as we worked up. So this is going to make sure that they stay fairly straight up. So then you're going to repeat this around. Work one single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, followed by 2 single crochet stitches into your next stitch. Repeat this all the way around. 1 single crochet into the next stitch, followed by 1 more single crochet into the next stitch, followed by 2 single crochets into your next. Continue this all the way around, and I should have noted that no matter how many holes at this point in your basket, this is how we're going to work. And once we come around at the end of this round, I'll tell you how to adjust it if needed. So I've now come all the way around at the end of my round 1 after working that foundation round. And just a quick note, so I've ended off on 44 single crochet stitches, and I have 1 stitch left. For this pattern, you're going to need a multiple of 2 stitches after these rounds. So even though I only have 1 stitch left and I've already worked 2 in this previous stitch, in this next stitch, I'm going to finish off by working 2 more single crochet stitches to bring me to 46 stitches, and this is to ensure that I have a multiple of 2 stitches. So no matter how many holes your bottom of the basket has punched or prepared, you will just need to make sure that at the end of this round you have an even number of stitches. You can then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Chain 1, continue working in the same direction, and if you need to, you can kind of push your basket sides up a little bit so that you're always working in this direction and the outside or the right side of your work is always facing. Now for rounds 2 and 3, you're simply going to chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch as joining, and then single crochet, work 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. You're going to continue to have the same number of stitches. In my case, it's 46. When you come to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top, and then repeat this for round 3. At the end of round 3, you'll have worked 2 more rounds of single crochet stitches all the way around, 1 stitch in each stitch, and then you can meet me back here. At the end of round 3, you'll have worked 2 more rounds of a single crochet in each stitch around, join with the slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. We're now going to work some rounds of that texture that you saw there in the middle of my basket. So for round 4, we're going to chain 1. You're going to start by working 1 single crochet into that first stitch. Then into your next stitch, you're going to work what I'm calling a post single crochet. The post single crochet is going to be worked through the middle of your crochet stitch under the top 2 loops that you see the vertical bars at the front of your stitch. So you're not working into the normal top 2 loops. You're working through the middle of the post under the top 2 loops of the post of the next single crochet. Then you're simply finishing off your single crochet stitch. You're then going to single crochet into the next stitch and repeat. Work a post single crochet through the center of your next stitch. When you're looking at where to insert your hook, when you see the next stitch, you're just going to follow it up, and then you have your top 2 loops there. So single crochet into the next stitch, then find the post of the next, work your single crochet post stitch. Single crochet in the top of the next stitch, and post single crochet into the next. You're going to repeat this all the way around, ending with a post single crochet. You're then going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. When you come all the way around at the end of round 4, you're finishing off with a post stitch in your final stitch. You're then going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Chain 1, continue working in the same direction. Now for round 5, we want to alternate our post stitches with our single crochet. So this time for round 5, you're going to start off by working a post stitch into that first single crochet stitch, followed by a single crochet into the next. Post single crochet into the next stitch, and single crochet into your next. So for this round, you're always working your post stitches through the post of the single crochet that fall between the 2 post stitches down below the previous round, and then single crochet in your next. Repeat this all the way around until you come back to your first stitch. At the end of round 5, you'll have finished off with a single crochet stitch. You're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that first post stitch. We're going to work 1 more round of texture, and for round 6, chain 1. Continue working in the same direction. Work 1 single crochet into the top of that first post stitch, and then work a post stitch, single crochet through the next single crochet. Single crochet into the top of the next post stitch, and then post single crochet through the next single crochet stitch. Repeat this all the way around until you come back to that first stitch, then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of your round 6, this is what your work looks like. From the beginning, we have 3 rounds of our texture. You'll have joined in this with a slip stitch into the top of your final stitch, and you're going to chain 1. Continue working in the same direction, and we're now going to take a moment and determine the placement of our basket handles. Now this is all written out, this formula, in the written pattern on richtexturescrochet.com in case you want to follow along. The handles on my basket are 4 stitches long. So what we're going to do is begin by counting all of the stitches on our basket, and I have a total here of 46 stitches. You're then going to subtract 8, and that is the number for 2 handles on our basket of 4 stitches each. That brings me down to a total of 38 single crochet stitches, or 38 stitches. You're then going to divide that remaining number by 2, which is going to give me a total of 19 stitches. That means that between each handle, I am going to work a total of 19 single crochet stitches before working my handle of 4 stitches, then continuing 19, 4, and then coming around to the end. So for round 7, you're going to work a single crochet then in each of the first, in my case, 19 stitches. If you had a different starting number, in my written pattern, I actually started with 48, so I'd be working 20 stitches. But this time around, because this basket had fewer holes, I'm only working 1 single crochet into each of the next 19 stitches. There's 10. $15. And 19. Once you've worked those single crochet stitches, you're then going to chain 4 for your handle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the next 4 stitches and then single crochet into each of the next 19, or however many you have calculated that you need. I'm going to continue working a single crochet into each of the next 19 stitches. Now I'm just going back here a moment. As I finished my handle, I discovered I was going to run out of one of my colors, my dark gray here, and I thought this is a perfect opportunity to show you how to add in a new scrap of yarn if you wish. So I've just finished chaining 4, and then I've skipped 4, worked my first single crochet into the next stitch. I'm getting kind of short here on my dark gray, so I want to add in this new strand of yarn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and draw up a loop, and I'm still using my original 3 strands. After you draw up that loop, what I did was I dropped the short one that I was running out of, took my new yarn, placed it on or just alongside those other 3 strands. I'm holding it back here so that it doesn't pull through, and I've left a little bit of a tail so I can weave in. You're simply going to yarn over then with your new strand of yarn and your 2 other strands and pull through. And that's how I add new yarn into this scrap basket. You can, if you like, weave in these tails later on. I'm going to continue working my 19 single crochet here and work directly over top of them, tucking them in as I go. But that's just a great seamless way of adding in a new scrap of yarn, and you can stagger this all the way around the basket and add in new colors as you go. It's such a great scrap project. So I'm continuing here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more stitches. I'm going to continue going to 19. This is 12. $15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So when you come to the end, you should then have remaining 4 stitches for your handle. You're going to chain 4 and then simply join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch after skipping those final 4 stitches. You now have the placements. They should be directly opposite one another for your 2 handles. Now for round 8, we're simply going to chain 1, work 1 single crochet into each of the first 19 stitches, or however many stitches you have. You're just working single crochet stitches. All the way across, really to that first chain 4 loop. My yarn has developed a little bit of a knot. There we go. Once you come to that chain 4 space, you're simply going to work 4 single crochets into that chain 4 space. You don't need to work into the stitches, just work 4 single crochets. You're then going to continue where you left off by working a single crochet into that next stitch, and then single crochet all the way around to your next chain 4 space, and work 4 single crochets in the chain 4 space before you join. I've now come back around here to my final chain 4 space. I'm going to work 4 single crochet stitches into this chain 4 space, and then join with a slip stitch into the top of that first stitch. That brings you to the end of your basket. If you wanted to continue to make it taller, you certainly could by working more rows. I'm going to finish it off here. You're going to fasten off and then take a yarn needle and simply tuck in these ends. You can then go ahead, trim off any tails that you might have there. And that's all there is to working your little scrap basket. So thank you so much for joining me. Once again, while you're here, I invite you to subscribe. Take a look around. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.